Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. BTM here, bringing you a 2v2 on Great Lakes. On my team, I am playing Russian, teaming with a French, and the French player on my team is actually the guy I beat 3 or 4 videos ago on Unknown. He was the Spanish player on the other team, and he wanted me to play a game, so we went in 2v2 random, and we got 2 other people in there, and we ended up teaming together, which was kind of cool because he knew who I was, I knew who he was, and we were super excited to team together. It's going to be a French and Russian combo, facing off against a Dutch and a Sioux, and that's pretty exciting because the Dutch player obviously is going to be very economic, the Sioux is going to be very pressure-orientated, I'm going to be very attacking and aggressive because I'm Russian, and of course, the French is kind of a mixed bag, so it can go either way. Pay no attention, by the way, to my horrendous early game micromanagement skills. It is quite foolish, I do admit. Unfortunately for myself, I am not very good at times, or I get distracted easily, or whatever, or the nonsense. It was absolute nonsense at the beginning of the game. I was talking so much and trying to figure out what to do here, because actually we were both considerably underrated and underranked compared to the other team. We both were like 2 or 3 ranks lower than them, and both of them were talking some pretty heavy smack in the chat before, especially Yellow, who really pissed me off with his smack talk. So I was really hoping to beat them, so we're kind of talking, throwing ideas back and forth, and this is what makes 2v2 so amazing of a game strategy. You have to know what you're doing, and we're talking about double cav and this and that, but we end up, or my teammate ends up reminding me that the Sioux player is likely to go with Bow Rider, so double cav isn't going to be a good idea. I probably should go Strelets. So all things considered, ended up being a good idea. I did pop myself there like a minute into the game, and I'm already having problems. But I do actually play pretty well this game once I get some things rolling. And there is water on this map, so I decided to go with my water deck, which in hindsight was both a good and a bad choice. And it's a bad choice because my water deck doesn't have a lot of the same upgrades that my non-water deck does, but it is a good thing in that I then get access to water. So it's kind of a drawback pro game, I guess, or pros and cons kind of situation. But I do end up choosing my water deck, and because I'm going to water deck, and because I've already planned in my head thinking, you know what, these are both better players, I'm gonna have to play very boomy to beat them, I am gonna send Distributism as my first card in. I find that hilarious because I just told you in the last video, I don't send Distributism, I don't send Distributism, I don't send Distributism, but I do when the situation calls for it, and that's what Age of Empires is all about, guys. It's about adapting to the situation, or better yet, making a situation that fits what you do. Maybe not. Now I'm just making stuff up at this point. But either way, because there's water and because I'm going to want to go and take advantage of the fishing as fast as possible, my idea in my head at this point was send Distributism as my first card, build a dock instead of a blockhouse because I'm not expecting that fast to pressure, and then send to Schooners, which makes my fishing boats cheaper, as my second card. My plan, my thought was, hey, you know what? We can get a really early fish boom coming. They won't expect that, right? And I like doing the unexpected. Nobody expects Russia to kind of sit back and be boomy, so I'm not going to rush. Or as Midas says, I'm not going to do a semi-slow rush. He pointed that out to me on the forums and said, ha ha ha, BTM's funny because he says stupid things like that. But there will be not even a pretense of attack from me. My plan is to build a few blockhouses, kind of turtle up, take control of the ocean. Hopefully, by the time people realize I have control of the ocean, they won't be able to do anything about it. With that being said, considering that I'm focusing on being a little bit more economic, am I going to age up with 17 villagers? No, I am not. I'm going to age up with 14. That way, I make sure that I hit the next age faster. And as you can see, I've been spending this time working in that Quarter de Bois treasure. Red's Explorer's in the area. The Sioux's Explorer is in the area as well. So there's a lot of action going on down here. But either way, my goal is to get it. And I end up, spoiler alert, getting the treasure stolen from me. And you're going to see what's happening. Because we're still talking. We're still trying to figure out. Because, again, we're not better players than the other 2 people, so we were kind of like jittery, you know what I mean? Like, what do we do now? And how about this idea? And this sounds great, and I kind of took a little bit of a leadership role this game, and I don't want to be a jerk, and I'm not the best player in the world, but I kind of felt like he was looking to me because I beat him the last game to kind of carry the team a bit. So, whoa, I nearly dropped my microphone there. All good? All good. But I figured he was kind of looking for me to take a little bit of a leadership role in this situation, so I thought, you know what, I'll do it. Unfortunately, as you can see, I'm ignoring the Quarter de Bois treasure, but now I'm getting back to it. I'm trying to back or herd towards me. Not back herd. Back herding is apparently when the herd doesn't come towards me. I'm also looking for a good spot to build my dock. I finally find that spot, and I watch this. Ready? I shoot the bear, and I'm near the bear in melee to that bear, so it doesn't get stolen from me, right? So play smart at this point, right? Taking an eye on it, keeping an eye on it, looking at what my French player's doing. Oh, you're building a market, great. and I say, mass units. I wanted to kind of stress to him that even though we're being economic, we should still mass some units. I get distracted by my dock, you know. Okay, I'm going to make 2 boats, you know, 40 wood a pop, and there walks away my Courrier de Bois. Yep, I'm that stupid, guys. I am that stupid. You may flame me in the comments as much as you want. And that was what this game to me felt like. Felt like there was a lot of really good moments shadowed by a few moments of utter and moronic stupidity. Now, in hindsight, looking back at this, considering we are playing in Dutch, I think I would have been a little bit more aggressive. I'm not going to spoil the ending because it's a fabulous ending. But in hindsight, I would have been a little bit more aggressive, I think, initially, because I kind of was like, sit back, and I really wanted to count on me getting my fishing out and booming and doing very boomy style things, because that's what I like to do. I'm such an economic player. As you guys know, I played Treaty before I played Rush. I am going to be bringing Treaty videos, by the way, so I occasionally get that question in the comments. I actually have that in the works with another YouTuber who does Treaty stuff, so keep your eyes out for that. Self-plug in the middle of my video. This commercial break is brought to you by BTM Gaming. But joking aside, as you can see here, I'm throwing up a blockhouse. I'm throwing up another house. I got 400 wood from aging. I'm going to build a trading post because I love trading posts. But I'm also going to build a trading post because trading posts are fabulous. But actually, despite their just being fabulous, I want the EXP. I want to send boats. And I made a crucial mistake. That was the mistake of the game from me right there. I sent 2 caravels, and here's why that was a mistake of the game. I should have looked at the other decks and seen. If they had sent or had water decks or had the possibility of caravels being there, because I would have found out that neither of them do. And there goes that off my desk. I'm sorry. But I would have looked and found out that neither of them have the ability to make caravels. I could have sent a more useful economic upgrade card, or better yet, I could have sent units to help fend off the incoming rush. So right there, immediately, I already screwed up by sending 2 caravels. I do use the caravels later, actually to pretty good effect. And it's pretty awesome, and they don't just sit there dead the entire game. Twice they do get used in some fairly crucial ways, but nowhere compared to the magnitude of sending them as a 3rd card. It was a waste of a 3rd card. That was a stupid mistake on my part. I could have sent 700 wood, 600 woods, 13 strelets, 5 Cossacks, a unit upgrade, team faster infantry. You know what I mean? There was a long laundry list of cards I could have sent instead. However, after making such a stupid mistake, I do a smart thing. I build a market, so it kind of evens out. I then build a 2nd dock, which in hindsight, I don't think I would have built a 2nd dock because my boats are cheap and because nobody else is challenging me for the seas, really. I would have probably just stuck with that 1 dock pumping out units. Now, here's the thing. If he was indeed trying to challenge me for the ocean, I would have most likely... well, if he was challenging me for the ocean, I would have been in a great spot, but I should have scouted out. Now, see here, I'm going to send 13 strelets, aren't I? I'm not. But my teammate's being attacked at this point. Do I not come help him yet? No, I thought he was fine. I thought he was fine at this point. I should have already been on my way down there. I am going to buy gang saws, but as you can see, I'm kind of ignoring him and working on my economy like a moron. I didn't realize how much trouble he was in at this point. So I failed here, but sending those 2 caravels was a humongous mistake. It does absolutely nothing to help him. What I should have done is I should have scouted. I should have seen that the 2 opponents didn't have water cards in their deck, at which point I then should have sent 13 strelets and then been paying more attention to my teammate who is getting clobbered here. And I realized it right about now because I saw the units in his town earlier, but I assumed that he was going to be fine. I wasn't even making units and not still making units for my blockhouse. And so I think this sequent event here was really the mistake of the game on my part. I played really well later on in the game, and that's partially why this game doesn't end now, because Green plays incredibly well for what he's given under pressure. He manages to hold them off. I managed to kind of play better and quit being such a doofus with protecting him, but I really screwed up. And I want to apologize to you, Anarcho 13. I want to apologize to you, man. I gave you a bump steer here. I was not paying attention. Obviously, in a 2v2, they're going to double rush one person, and I was not there to protect you. Now, fortunately, I was able to draw some of the pressure off, and I started to build a blockhouse closer to the action to kind of rectify my mistakes. But you've already been kind of hit over the slammer, having to use your Courrier de Bois to protect yourself, and it's already like, oh man, I just left you in a bad way there. Now I got some Strelets coming from both blockhouses, but it's a little bit late. I could have probably done a lot more to protect you and save your losses at this point. You're having to pop your Corps de Bois in and out of your town center. And honestly, I'm not going to lie. Watching this back, I'm ashamed. I honestly am. I played like an ass there. I really, really did. I knew those units were there. I didn't get units coming, and I made a very, very bad sequence of events in sending the 2 caravels instead of scouting. It was a very, very poor turnabout of play for me. And to be honest, if that section of play from me was better, you would not have been in this situation. So I'm going on record here right now, guys, saying to the world, I screwed up in a big way, and that's part of the game, I guess, learning. With that being said, at my level of play, I shouldn't make such catastrophic mistakes because their rush wasn't tremendously anything great, and he shouldn't be having to use his Corps de Bois to defend him. Now, I do have, what, 20, 25 Strelets on the field, 20 more coming, so we are probably going to be able to push him back. But the amount of damage done to him because of my stupidity at this point was just tremendous, and it was really, really bad for him. So my apologies again. I just, watching this back, I just feel like such a noob and an idiot for leaving you stranded so much. Yeah, there's nothing more I can say. It was my fault. You should not have been in this situation. And I think that if I think you'd have been a lot stronger, had a lot stronger showing. Now, that being said, guys, after leaving my teammate out to dry while booming my economy, I am now ready to look like the greatest hero of all time and fight this entire game on my own. I joke, but that's more or less what happened. I ended up just this entire game kind of carrying us a little bit. Granted, I put my teammate in a position where I had to carry him, whereas if I was a little bit less boomy with the second dock, I mean, even I could have still been boomy, though. I could have been boomy and not send the 2 caravels. I could have built the second dock and been fine. I could have. I should have. It would have been better off. And I sent him wood there because I figured he needed to replace some buildings. I could have done a better job, though, all around. But at this point, my massive Strelets is capable of fighting off their armies. And now I'm going to start pushing back and getting some offensive pressure. I'm like, you know what? We're going to get to the 3rd age, and we're going to get the show on the road. Because 12 musketeers is never, or not musketeers, but 12 or 15 skirmishers is not going to beat 42 Strelets. They're going to do a lot more damage than I'm going to do to them, but I'm still going to be better off in the long run than that, so I'm not going to cry. I'm going to buy a fishing boat upgrade, and I am going to use my boats, or my caravels, to kind of patrol. I am going to send my teammate 500 food. I'm trying to fix his economy after I just let him out to dry. I still feel so bad. As you can see here, though, I'm making musketeers, and my economy, with all the fishing I have, 31 people on food, is capable of more or less just making as many units as I need. And as you can see here, I'm scouting out. I'm trying to find the farthest place to build, because I will sooner or later start a 2-front war, and I am going to try to, on my own, carry my team to victory, because that's what BTM does. I screwed up, but I definitely didn't want to go down at this point, even though, you know, we were in trouble. I was kind of like, well, we fought them off. We'll be fine. Starting to put down my blockhouse. I got a huge army by green to protect them, thinking, all right, I'll fight on 2 fronts. Bring it. I do kind of pull these Strelets back, and I end up actually pulling them back to my town and then walking them right back to green after deciding, nah, it's probably a good idea to protect green. Again, stupid move by me. Like, it was a series. It was not a series of unfortunate events. It was a series of stupid moves by BTM. Now look here. There's one legitimate complaint I can have in this game. One mine on my entire side of the map. For the Dutch player, that's fine. You can build banks. I can't build banks. No whales in the ocean. There's 2 mines in the little island, but there are no mines on my side. And I tell them mass units, and looking back on that, I should have been slapped there. Mass units, right. With your shattered economy because I left you out to dry. Right. Me. Right. Like, I should be telling him what to do. I feel so bad for leaving him out to dry. That's going to be the motto of this, motto of the rest of this game. I feel bad for what I did. As you can see here, though, I'm going to kind of fight, try to protect him, and look at that. Look at that. The game continues, but I am going to, I'm going to be able to actually give him a humongous, much larger amount of help here. Now, look at this. A huge amount of cavalry coming in at me there. So what am I going to do? I'm going to run to the coastline, and sooner or later I will do it. Probably very, very soon. Looky here. I'm fighting off the dog shoulders. I know I'm in trouble. Hotkey to my ships, and I'm going to bring the caravels over, and I'm going to use the cannons of the caravels protect me from all those infantries. Not to mention now that I got a huge amount of musketeers and strelets fighting in this town. And this is what I mean by me kind of picking the game up a little bit. Not to brag, because I obviously, you know me, I screwed up in the big ways. But I did kind of play pretty swell here. By getting the strelets to the coast, I was able to create a friendly zone of fire for me, where I have a caravel behind my strelets, just unleashing humongous damage on his cav. Remember, Sioux can't generally replace their cavalry. I can replace all my strelets 5 or 6 times. In fact, at the end of this game, I'm going to have made over 400 units, almost 500, if I remember correctly. I recorded this quite a bit ago. Not quite a bit ago, but like 8 or 9 hours ago. And I don't know, I've been doing other exciting things since then. My little brother, I was hanging out with him all day. So give me a thumbs up for being a good brother, please. Either way, though, as you can see here, I'm spamming like nobody's business to save green. After I screwed up with protecting green early in the game, it was one of those, green will not fall, because I will spam as many units as I need to spam in order to keep green alive. Now, unfortunately for him, he is in a little bit of a bad way here. And by a little bit of a bad way, I mean he is in a tremendously bad way here. My economy is not quite as hot as I would have liked on the food, just because I have made a plethora and an absurd plethora of units. But as you can see here, I have managed to take the focus off of Green's town center. And I will say this, no offense to Green, but what he probably should have done, he probably should have moved a majority of his Quarry de Bois up to gather by my hunts in order to protect him, because he knew obviously that Red had a forward base by him, whereas I did, well, I knew too, but he knew specifically that Red had a forward base by him, and he knew he was under a lot of pressure, and he knew that I wasn't, so it would have made smarter sense for him to kind of get his economy out of a place where he couldn't grow. That'd be my pro tip, that'd be my advice. Granted, if I had played better, he wouldn't have been in that situation, so I guess it's take it with a grain of salt, you know, how to avoid the situation that, or how to play well in the situation that BTM just caused you to be in, you know what I mean? With that being said, though, look at this. We managed to fight him off, and it's just really because at this point I can afford just to non-stop make units. Meanwhile, as his units are retreating, I got my caravels just endlessly bombarding the units walking through the trees, and that was pretty awesome, getting that little move down. So the caravels did kind of come in handy there, as you can see, but and I was kind of proud of myself at this point, like, yeah, Russia, I beat off 2 people by myself. But at the same time, right, he shouldn't have been in this situation in the first place. So, again, oh, man. That being said, it's time to get a second front going, you know what I mean? Like, okay, we pushed him back there, it's time to push him back here. And that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to build some more houses because I'm popping myself, but I'm going to start a second front war, and I'm going to start pushing by myself on both sides. And you know what? People say, BTM, you only upload wins. Well, gameplay like this is why I only upload wins. Because I put my team on my back. After I, of course, chop them at the knees to make sure that I have to carry them. But anyways, I'm marching into Red's town. And my plan is to kill Red. More or less entirely. I'm going to wipe Red off the map. His army has retreated on the other side of the map. How good of a shape can he really be in? So I'm going to make more men up here. Meanwhile, meanwhile, my ally's going to tell me, hey, look, Yellow's hunting, and this is where the game starts to get a little funky. Look at this, just slaughtering Yellow's hunter and gatherers, meanwhile pumping units into Red's town. Now we do know that they're going to be showing up with an army sooner or later, but I wanted to inflict some permanent damage, and maybe I shouldn't have gone for the town center. I should have gone for a bank, maybe. I don't know. I thought that going for the town center was a better idea in case he was going to drop off units, but I thought that because I made a mistake in the game, I thought he was the one in the Fortress Age, not his ally. And so because I thought he was the one in the Fortress Age, that's why I went for his town center when I probably should not have there. So a little bit of a mistake by me. Meanwhile, a bunch of cavalry and axe riders and skirmishers on the field here. Meanwhile, I'm of course just still pursuing a lot of Yellow's units and trying to kill them in whatever way, shape, and means that I can. And I don't know what Green's up to. I hope he's making lots of villagers and herding all the herds that he can. Who knows? But man, I kind of left him out to dry, but he kind of, I don't know, was he a little too timid? He might have been too timid after I let him out to dry, but with that being said, I don't blame him for being timid there. So, with that big attack on Red, we kind of did a good job in regards to, we did a good job of taking out his town center, obviously, and we did a good job of getting some more pressure on him and kind of scattering, but we didn't really get a lot of game-changing results. Unfortunately for me. On the bright side, though, we did get some critical pushing on the other side of the map. We were able to destroy some barracks. And why am I retreating here? This is not like, oh, I'm chasing villagers. Yeah, there's no way in hell I would be retreating there. But I had a reason to be walking backwards, and that was, of course, chasing some of Yellow's villagers. When in reality, I should have just gone and destroyed his town center. So, maybe not the best choice by me. Meanwhile, I'm kind of got a bajillion units at my blockhouse. On the left of the map, I'm sent 700 gold because I want to age, but I end up realizing I have absolutely no mines on the map, which means I can't spam musketeers, which means I can't be cavalry, and both guys are going with cavalry, so I'm like, uh-oh, so I end up actually deciding, you know what, I'm going to gather the coin for my 700. I'm going to have to send people to the middle of the map, to the 2 islands, in order to get me some coin, because that's the only thing I can do, not to mention I will upgrade the trading post, even though that'll upgrade it for them. I need it to be upgraded for my own personal nefarious goals as well. And he says, can you release my villagers? But look there. There were no villagers in either of my blockhouses, and I pressed the button several times. So I didn't know what else to do in pertation to that. Now, as you can see here, I'm just kind of looking around, trying to find villagers to kill or whatever. And boom, there's a bunch of villagers there. But I do kill them. And I say, they ain't be in there. They ain't be none them villagers be chilling in there. And this kind of annoys me. The Strelets like I take 5 million shots to kill a single villager. Come on, Strelets, really? But again, coin kind of sparse, even though I have 900 of it sitting there. Let me tell you about my lack of coin while I'm sitting on a tremendous pile of unused coin. But in my head, I didn't have a lot of coin because I was kind of saving that coin for hitting the Fortress Age. Because I wanted to have Fortress Age-esque units. So that was kind of why I was doing that. Meanwhile, I will lose a lot of my fishing boats because Red will build a trading or a town center on the coast. But I didn't notice that until after the game and until after I lost a lot of fishing boats. Meanwhile, I'm going to keep up the pressure on Red's town, while Red is going to be likely fighting elsewhere. But it was kind of like, well, I have to kind of keep the pressure on your town. I didn't see it being valuable for me not to. Meanwhile, I do upgrade my fishing boats again. I should have built more market upgrades. I should have upgraded my plantations as well. BTM, why you so noob? I was a noob at many points this game. That was just one of them. And look at that again. Battle of Greenstown Part 6. Really, like, it just does not end. We're still fighting in Greenstown. I'm actually popped out here, which is hilarious to me. I have just too many military units all over the map. I'm trying wherever I can to do whatever I can to help our team win, even though it's kind of a little bit too late, I think, in my opinion. But I'm trying. I am giving it my best shot. But as you can see here, there's that town center popped on the mini-map for Red, which means I'm going to lose a good chunk of fishing boats before I notice, even though I've tried. And he says, oh, sorry, man, but the reality is I kind of let him out to dry. Although, with that being said, disclaimer here, let me kind of justify my own self. I feel as though if he had shipped the 2 tower shipment and placed him by his town center early on, he would have been in great shape. I always have 2 tower cards in my deck if I'm playing with the European Civ. 2 towers and advanced trading posts are like my favorite cards ever. So, but no, 2 tower cards I think would have allowed him to help send the rush. Also, I don't think I saw him send 6 crossbowmen, and I don't think I saw him send 6 pikemen or 5 hussar either. So he could have done a little bit more to protect himself. So I don't, even though I think I could have done more to protect him, I think there was definitely some room for improvement for both of us. You know what I mean? I just want to say it wasn't 100% my fault, even though I feel like I should take the majority of the blame. Just because I did kind of take leadership and say, nah, sit back and boom, we got nothing wrong. Right. Yeah, and meanwhile I'm losing my fishing boats without noticing it, which are going to hurt my economy. And at this point I'm like, I have no more resources. I have lost a battle in his town. A lot of my fishing boats are dead. I realize about now that I don't have fishing boats, and I realize that there's a trading post there, or a town center. They're not a trading post. And I'm kind of like, well, uh-oh. So all around, I could have done more. I could have done better earlier on. I still felt relatively happy with the way I played. I feel like Green didn't do an amazing job defending himself, but I didn't do an amazing job. I don't think I made right choices with the game. I should have pushed us to rush. all around it was a learning experience. It was a very, very learning experience. I have a lot of work I need to do with my Russian water deck, but I chose at this point, I said, you know what, it's GG. And again, I believe in fighting to the last man, and looking here, all of a sudden I got back up to over 1,000 food relatively quickly. So perhaps I was not as bad off as I initially thought, because we did fight off the batch of men in Green's town, but it was still more or less over because Green just never caught a break and he was kind of having trouble. So all around it was a good game. I really tried really hard to carry my team. I had most resources. I had more military units than everybody else in the game combined. Granted, they were Sterlets, which means they sucked, but still, I did my best. I was bummed that I lost, and I was bummed that I kind of let Green get a bump steer, but he didn't send 2 towers and some other problem and some other things, so I didn't feel completely awful, and I felt pretty proud of the way I played in defeat, despite the fact that sending 2 caravels was, like I said, a big mistake. So either way, you know, you win some, you lose some. And some guy posted on my last video, and I'd like to thank you guys, everybody who comments. It really means a lot. I read every single comment on every single video, and with 70 plus matches, you can imagine that's a lot of comments, but it means a lot to me. But he posted, oh man, I love you because you're so honest and you think you're not the greatest. Well, you know what, I am the greatest player of all time, so deal with it. I kid, but I just wanted to call him out and say thanks for commenting. It meant a lot. And here I'm looking at the villager count. I was head and shoulders, knees and toes above everybody else in the villager count. And you can look at red and yellow. Both had some huge bad impacts from my rating. Like I said, I put my team on my back the best I could. Even Green, for every time he lost villagers, he kept building them back up. So kudos to him. But again, he didn't send 2 towers. Why do you not send 2 towers when you're being rushed? Yeah, I don't know, and I know that it would have been, yeah, I don't know. He could have sent 5 musketeers, 6 crossbowmen. I think it's 6 pikemen or 7 pikemen and 5 hussar as well for France. So he had some better choices he could have gone with. But all around is a good fun game. I want to let you guys know I have a special 4v4 that interjection that I did to be uploaded tomorrow, so I hope you guys are looking forward to that. It was a fun game. I think I got the sound issues figured out, so hopefully that'll all go a lot better. 4 of us on TeamSpeak, you know, in a crazy match. It's the way it goes. It's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to uploading that. But before I leave for today, I do, of course, have my quote of the day from Sun Tzu and the Art of War, and the quote is this: "Success in warfare is gained by carefully accommodating ourselves to our enemy's purpose." Sun Tzu, The Art of War. I personally would add to that, failure in warfare is by sending 2 caravels when 13 sterlets, 700 wood, or a plethora of other card choices would have been wiser. Anyway, guys, before I leave you, I just want to say this is BTM here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, good luck and happy hunting.